Did you ever find yourself asking why you allowed yourself to be manipulated by a narcissistic abuser? This is a question that comes up a lot, and I want to address it today in our video, just discussing like the confusing thoughts that happen, like the self-doubt, the things that you experience after being a victim of narcissistic abuse. I want to be able to walk you through to the end of this video to gain clarity of the reasons behind your feelings and actions and understand how the manipulation wasn't your fault. In watching this, I want you just to understand the dynamics of narcissistic abuse, how they are real, how they're full, how they completely destroy in so many different ways, and realize that your experiences are valid. It's not something that's made up. It's not something that you're being extra over the top, but like your experiences are valid. And I want you to be able to find truth, to heal, to regain the control that needs to be in your life. When we talk through this aspect of being allowed to be manipulated, one of the things I want to talk to you first off is the blame game. The blame game comes from this aspect where you start to fall into this cycle of blaming yourself for allowing it, blaming yourself for allowing the manipulation, the abuse, the things that have happened to you, and it starts to weigh on you in a heavy weight. I need you to understand the aspects of this and how it actually affects you. You see, narcissists are skilled at taking out your vulnerabilities, like finding like the one weak spot, the thing in your past that is triggering, the thing in your present that is hurtful, and creating it into a web of confusion. And this aspect starts to pull at you and pull at you and pull at you to a place that you start to be able to run away from those things that hurt. And the narcissist is like, if I use these, I can actually control you to the direction that I want you to go. And you start to blame yourself, thinking, I should have seen this. I should have known better. I should have realized what was happening. The thing you have to see is with narcissism, it's very subtle. It's very small in order to break down your walls to be able to get to you. It's not this huge, elaborate thing. Yes, there are grandiose narcissists that show up this way, but it's very, very small. And if you're not careful, you'll look back at the past and you'll start to blame yourself. So before we move on in this video, I want you to understand you cannot judge yourself in the past based on knowledge you have in the present. Now, what do I mean by that? So many times people will look at the past, the old version of them, the one that fell prey to the narcissist, and they'll be like, I'm so dumb. I was so stupid. And they don't realize that when they look at the past, they're judging it based on knowledge they didn't have then, only knowledge they have now. And I want you just to take a moment, just to mull on that, just to think about that. Like, take a pause and don't judge yourself on the past based on what's happening now. Because when you get with a narcissist, it's not like you walk into the relationship being like, oh, let me get abused by this person. Like, you walk into a relationship with someone who uses tactics like you've never seen before. Gaslighting, changing your perception of your reality. Love bombing, putting you up on a pedestal, making you feel like you're the best person in the world, when in reality, they're smearing you behind your back. Guilt tripping you to be able to confuse you and break down your self-esteem and make you question your current reality. Like, this deliberate psychological manipulation leaves you in a place where you feel weak, you lose your self-esteem, your confidence, and you start to doubt yourself. Your judgment, your ability to do things, your ability to make decisions, all different aspects of this. And then you start blaming yourself. Imagine like thinking about the past relationship with your partner. And as you think about that relationship, you start to bring up the different thoughts and the feelings and the things that happen, and you start to blame yourself for not recognizing the manipulation. Is this you today? Like, do you find yourself blaming yourself about the past? But in reality, what is actually there? The abuser's tactics that were so subtle, he was so gradual that you didn't realize that's what was happening. It is a slow thing. It is not something that is quick. It is a slow thing. Next thing I want to talk to you about is the power play. Okay, narcissists believe this whole aspect of being entitled, to control and manipulate others to get what they want. Okay, that's kind of like premise or baseline that you see that's consistent with the majority of narcissists of like, I believe that I'm allowed to control you. I believe that you're subservient to me. I believe that you need to fit in this box that I formed for you so that you can be a better slave to me. Like that's the thought process. Okay. And so it's like, what do I have to do to manipulate the other person to get what I want? Okay, does that make sense? That's the frame we're walking into this. Okay, narcissistic abusers, they have the inflated sense of entitlement. So, like, I always thought I was better than everyone else. Like, I'm entitled to you because I know better, because I'm smarter, because I look better, all these things. Okay, doesn't make sense logically, but in my head, that's what I was telling myself. That's the lies I was feeding myself to feel better about how I wasn't showing up as an actual honest person. Okay, but this fuels it. It fuels the manipulative behavior. It keeps it going more and more and more. And the view of other people turns from being people and souls and individuals to tools, to just being appliances, to just being something that is going to get the end result of what I want. Now, I've used illustration before that a narcissist views you as a toaster. As soon as you stop toasting to the correct level that they want, or maybe they get frustrated and they turn the dial of the toaster all the way up and they burn the toast and they're like, see, you're a broken toaster, and they throw you away. That's how narcissists view and use you so much, as they're looking at what is this person going to do for me? How am I going to get my own gratification from this person? How am I going to do this? And, oh yeah, by the way, I'm also exploiting this person. I'm also like taking this person's vulnerabilities. Because it doesn't factor in. For a narcissist, it's like, what do I want right now? How do I get it? What do I do? And oftentimes you'll look at this and you'll be like, how did they use me? How did they do this? Why did they do this? Well, narcissist is going after your perceived weakness. And it's not this aspect of it being a shortcoming, but rather it's a reflection of the narcissist's calculated tactics to be able to attack that area. Okay, narcissists will try to flesh out vulnerabilities just to be able to use them against you. You might have this where he started calling you out or he started to guilt trip you into doing things for him, even when you were exhausted, even when it was something that wasn't even on the table. You might wonder as you look back, you're like, why was I even manipulated into doing this? Like I literally did everything in the entire household and provided, and he sat on the couch. But in reality, the entitlement, the manipulation was driving forces behind you being in that state. But you don't think about it in the moment because it's not something that you feel. It's not something that you see. It's not something that you understand. So I get it because it gets confusing. Now, remember I said earlier, like giving yourself some grace. I want to go back to that for a moment just to have you understand. Okay? Think of it when you were 4 years old. And you were 4 years old, and maybe you're getting in different types of like learning and understanding. You're starting to put different phrases, ideas, thoughts, concepts together in your mind, but a young age, right? At 4 years old, how much algebra did you understand? You might be like, I don't understand any algebra. I get that, but like, bear with me for a second. How much algebra did you understand? None? What? Why not? Like, how could you not understand algebra at 4 years old? Like, are you that dense that you didn't understand algebra? Like, does that make sense? Like how could you be that way? What I need you to understand is you're doing the same thing today. You're talking that way to yourself about the relationship that you used to be in or that you're realizing now was abusive. Sit with that for a moment and understand the type of words that you're using to yourself. Like the phrases, the thought process, the actual like descriptors of what you're saying about you. Because what you might be surprised is when you start to strip away the actions, you start realizing the names and the words and the things that you're calling yourself are actually beating yourself up even more. And then it becomes not just your words, but the narcissist's words that's layered on top of that. And it makes it harder and harder for you to actually break free because you're going through a cycle of blaming yourself. I want to encourage you today to help you understand the narcissist goes through this aspect to manipulate and control you does not mean that you're to blame for that. Does not mean that you allowed yourself and that it is your fault for allowing it. And as you start to learn and understand now what it is, now you have a choice that you didn't see before. Not just the choice to be with the person or not be with the person, but the choice to get clarity about who you are and how that changes the relationship dynamic, either with enforcing boundaries or leaving or in a co-parenting, parallel parenting situation. There's so many different aspects, but the whole goal is how you change and how you develop you so that you don't allow yourself to be manipulated down the road. So that this person no longer has a hold on you or a grip on you anymore, but you're able to be free. This is probably one of the biggest things I hear people ask about when we do one-on-ones or when I talk to people or that they're in some of our programs is they're like, I just want to be free and I want to have peace. If that's you today, I want you to reach out for help. Go to escapetoxicity.com. Join our 7-day challenge. It's $7. Discover the insights that we have in there, the supportive community to be able to help guide you towards your healing. If you're looking for more guidance, like personalized, like one-on-one, or like interaction with some of the groups that we have, you can go to rawmotivations.com, grab a time there. I need you to remember, though, you're not to blame for the manipulation you endured. And healing is within your reach. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, rate, review. We'll see you guys in the next one.